From an early age with my son, I made sure that he read plenty of books that had animals in them. Great things about animals as teaching lessons is they're all different shapes and sizes and colors, and then he can giggle when I try to mimic the sound that they make. Well, about a year or so ago, I thought, he really loves animals. Anytime there's an educational program on TV about animals, man, he's glued to it. So I thought I would buy season passes to the Little Rock Zoo. So I bought the season passes and I took him. The first time I took him during the early spring, we walked through the gates. And the great thing about our local zoo is when you walk in the gates, although you can't really see any animals, you can hear the animals. It's like the place comes alive with the sounds of animals just chirping and making all these noises, and it's just great. And I looked down at my son and his eyes were big, and he pulled on the hem of my pants and he said, "Dad, we've got to go. Let's go. We've got to go see the animals." I said, "Okay, we will." He said, "No, Dad, I can hear them. I can hear them. But now I want to see them." So that whole day, we walked around from enclosure to enclosure, looking at animals, his eyes wide open. And every time we've gone back since, as soon as we step in the gate, he says, "Dad, I want to see the animals." So during Passion Week, there's this really interesting phenomenon that happens. Jesus has been doing miracles, he's been healing people, he's been teaching, and he gets into Jerusalem for Passion Week. And there's this really interesting scene that happens. Listen to it in John chapter 12 and verse 21. "So these came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, and asked him, 'Sir, we wish to see Jesus.'" So these people came to the disciples. They didn't know really anything about Jesus, but they knew that there was excitement in the air. Palm Sunday had happened. Jesus had had this triumphal entry, and there was just an excitement and electricity in the area, and people were coming from all around to see Jesus. Well, this particular group goes up to Philip and they say, "We want to see Jesus." I think that's very interesting, and I think that there's a couple of reasons that they wanted to see Jesus. Number one, they had heard of all of the great things that he had done. They heard that he could make the lame walk, the blind see, the dead rise. They heard that he could feed the thousands with just a few pieces of fish and bread. They heard all of these great things. They heard the sounds of Jesus, but now they wanted to see him. Well, they had also seen the things, at least the things that Jesus had done, maybe not firsthand at this point, but they saw the men walking who were lame. They saw the people who were on their deathbed now being able to serve. They saw the multitudes following Jesus. They saw the crowd and they knew Jesus has to be there. So they saw the people who were seeing Jesus, but now they wanted to see Jesus. Not only that, did they want to hear and see and experience Jesus, but they wanted something more. They went searching. Much like if you're on a scavenger hunt and you're going to find the prize, or even if you're on a road trip and you're following the map to your great destiny, these people yearned for something more. They weren't interested in the journey. They just wanted to get to the destination. They had something that was missing in their life that caused them to look for and search for and ultimately to find Jesus. They heard of all the miracles that he could do. They heard of the promises that he was promising. They saw the masses following him. They witnessed the people who were sick now recovered. They saw the blind now seen. They wanted that in their life. They may not have been sick. They may not have been crippled. They may not have been blind. But they still had a need for something greater. They wanted to see Jesus for themselves so that whatever their issue was in life, he could fix it. During these times, everybody around us has needs. And as believers, as the church, whether you're a part of this church or that church, we are called to meet the needs. Some of those are physical. Some of those may be getting groceries or getting mail or running errands. Some of those are emotional. Maybe you just need to make a phone call to someone who has been in their house for a while and you can talk to them. Or maybe you need to meet someone out at the curb and just let them cry and tell you about the troubles in life right now and how they're struggling. Whatever it is, we as believers are called when trouble abounds to run towards the issue. You see, what we as believers need to do right now, more than ever, are you ready? We need to show people Jesus. We need to demonstrate for our neighbors what it looks like to see Jesus. Although you don't look just like Jesus, and I certainly don't look like Jesus, our actions can be just like Jesus. We can love our neighbor as ourselves in the name of Jesus. We can cry with those who cry, hurt with those who hurt, serve with those who serve, all in the name of Jesus, thereby giving them a picture of Jesus. The Bible, several places Paul talks about it, is imitating Christ, imitating God. So when you do whatever you do for your neighbor, however you help, however you serve, imitate Christ, thereby showing Jesus. Because here's what I want you to know. In times of need, people need to see Jesus. God bless you.